host Scarlet Everose, and welcome back to another episode of my podcast series, where we dive into chaos and the beauty of anime. For those who are new here, I'm Scarlet Everose, your guide through all things anime and characters that challenge our understandings of morality. In last episode, we explored the seductive chaos of Hisoka and Shuzukiyama, but today we're tackling a battle of intellects. Two characters who embody justice, manipulation, and the struggle for power. Like Yagami and L from Death Note. Grab your snacks, get comfy, and let's dive into this battle of wits. Before we get started, I want to say thank you to everyone who's been supporting the podcast as I'm getting more comfortable behind the mic. I know there's some rough patches early on, but we are improving with each episode. And I'm so excited for you to hear
Light
what's
Yagami?
to come. All
So,
right.
Light
Yagami
is the main protagonist of Death Note. He is one of the, I wouldn't say one of the fewest characters I've seen that actually turned evil. But he has this very godlike complex. He's very, he gets the Death Note. The Death Note is like a book. It's like a life and death book where, for example, Light, in the beginning, Light used the Death Note as a way to do quote-unquote good until he got crazy with it, until power went into his head, and it was like, you know what? I can kill more than just criminals. I can kill anyone that gets in my way. And he makes kind of a deal with this other character that is Shinigami. And this Shinigami is Ryuk. And Ryuk is kind of like a symbolism for your consciousness. Because he says to Light, he even says to Light, look, I even used the Death Note on myself. Not on myself, but I was an owner of the Death Note as well. But I give it to you. If you want to play God, go ahead. But it's your choice. If something goes bad, I'm not responsible for it. But it's your choice. It's your choice. And a Shinigami basically is kind of like a god of death. Or some sort of supernatural being that isn't from hell. It's from the underworld, as I like to refer it as. So basically this anime kind of really does show you that how, unfortunately, sometimes power can get into the wrong people's hands, and in case like Yagami. And I watched a video of a person talking about him, and they go, is he a good person or he's a bad person? He's a weak person, and I'm gonna go into that real quick. He is a very weak-minded person, because when the Death Note got into his hands, at first, when he found out that he could kill people, he was scared of it, and then he got tempted to do it more and more and more. And then that's how he started to get a god complex. He wanted to quote unquote become the god of the new world. He wanted to cleanse the world and stuff, and he went all crazy with it. So yeah, that's like Yagami. Now, next, one of my favorite characters, who is L? L is a emo detective that he goes after Light, and he has this self-doubt sometimes of, he knows who Light is, and he knows Light goes under a different name, which is Kira. And Kira is this identity of Light, because Light doesn't actually use his name. He uses a different name to go after. Or I think one of the other characters, which I will go into, Misa, you can call it clingy girlfriend, the right hand woman. He never really cared about Misa or anybody, to be honest. He only cared about himself. Light, that's what I'm talking about. And she was the one that came up with the whole Kita name. And so L is trying to get to him. He knows that Light is Kita, but Light kind of manipulates him, even though L is super, super smart. But then towards the end, spoilers alert ahead, Light gets rid of him. But that does not mean that L is defeated. He has these two other people named Mellow and Near that takes over L's position, and they defeat him. Yeah, L is such an interesting character. I was very, very upset when Light killed him. I was like, are you kidding me, dude? But I'm happy of what Light got in the end. In the manga, it was so different. In the manga, Light was completely different. Light technically is a coward. He pretty much is. And let's see. And they start playing mind tricks on each other, trying to, one is trying to go for in Light's case, he wants to justify all the bad people that have done to other people, quote unquote. He does that in the beginning and completely loses the purpose of that and kind of starts just killing people because he just wants to he wants to create his own kingdom. He wants to create his own little world. And L tries to stop him. Yeah. So let's see. Yeah. So both of these are amazing characters. I would highly recommend watching it if you guys are into psychology and how the mind works. It's really, really good. Okay, so Light Yagami versus L, the battle of morality and intellect. So basically, Light's ego is huge throughout the entire story that I remember he made my blood so mad, you guys. I wanted something so bad to happen to him. That's how much I wanted him off my screen. Like I have this love-hate relationship with him because I hate him for, becoming this person that, at first wanted to do justice and completely did a 180 and then completely forgot the purpose of it. But I love him at the same time due to his freaking ignorance and thinking he was all that. But at the same time, I kind of laughed and snorted at some of the things he said because I'm like, dude, what the hell? He really thinks he's up top, and some of the stuff he's pretty smart at. I won't lie, but there was some stuff I'm like, yeah, right, dude, okay. He had a big ultra ego, sometimes bigger. No, actually, now that I'm thinking that, no, they both have a little bit of an ego, but I was about to say Hizuka has a lot more of an ego, but kind of both. It doesn't really matter. Both of them have, but at least Hisoka's interesting. Light is just annoying at times. He's interesting, but he can be very annoying with his egotistical style. Hisoka not so much. So L's very very quiet. He's like a cat almost. He doesn't pick out fights. He just does what he does, but he wants to do it to get justice, right? And just trying to put this quote-unquote Kita down and, get this done and over with. So, yeah, that's basically what happens. And so, yeah, Light believes that he is destined to create an utopia to rid of the world, like I said before, the world of crime of any cost. While L is willing to bend the rules, but only to maintain balance and bring justice. Basically, like what I said before, you guys. Basically, L. Sorry, I'm gonna get their names switched up a lot. I'm sorry about that. L just wants to get rid of this Kita person, aka Light, and just be done and over with. He's such a and plus he in the show he's like considered the top detectives of the whole world basically, and he could not solve this case, which as the audience we kind of were rooting for L to kind of be like, dude, he's right in front of you, he's just playing mind games with you, end him, but no. And then this broke my freaking heart here. L is a very lonely person. He doesn't have any friends. He's awkward, socially awkward, and he just wants someone to understand him, someone to be buddies with him. And freaking Light here is like, oh, okay, let me use that to my advantage. So he basically manipulates himself to forget about the death note and make himself look like a very innocent person. He kind of does lose his minds of the death note for a little bit, and they become so close, and then L kind of lets his guard down, and then when Light kind of regains his power, his memories back, he knew it was all planned, and it was awful. That broke my heart. I'm like, how can you do that? Why would you hurt him like that? He's such an evil bastard, I swear. I love Light's intelligence, but there are some times where I just wanted to end him myself at times. He made me so mad, you guys. So mad. So yeah, so both of them, are trying to, one, Light is trying to make a whole new world, killing, at first, like I said, was killing criminals, and then he tried to lie to himself, like, oh, I'm just killing criminals, like, what's so bad about it? And Ryuk was like, the Shinigami's like, dude, there were a couple of times where Ryuk was like, damn, this human being is crazier than I am. It was so funny. Plus, there's this running gag joke, and I love Ryuk for this. He's one of my favorite characters as well. He's obsessed with apples, and every time I see an apple, I just think of Ryuk, because Ryuk is addicted to apples. And I think in the show, I think the symbolism is like the forbidden fruit in the Bible, I think. And, Ryuk says to Light that, he's addicted to apples like people are addicted to drugs and cigarettes. So, I found that very funny, very comedic slap. It was interesting. Let's see. Both are very different goals. One is trying to create a new world as aka trying to put justice to all people, cleaning up all the quote-unquote bad people, but in reality he just wanted the world all to himself, making people worship him and stuff like that. And L is trying to stop him from even creating from that happens. And there's a lot of versions of what would have happened if Light did win. it was interesting. It was interesting. Knowing him, he would be by himself. He wouldn't care about having a queen. There was another chick. I forgot her name. She was like, she went to college with Light, and he told her, "Oh, you can be my goddess of the new world," and she fell for it. I'm like, are you freaking serious? Even myself, as a woman, I looked at this fool and I'm like, no, I would never date your ass, okay? No, I don't care how good looking you are. You're a freaking asshole. Like, no, thank you. Alright, segment 3, attraction and power. It's not just the intellect that fans love about these characters, it's the tension between them, the psychological mind games, the constant power struggles. Light with his cold, calculated charisma, and L with his quirky genius and vulnerability. Both characters draws in with their sharp minds and deeper motivations. There's something about watching them constantly try to outwit each other that makes us question the very nature of justice. Who's right? Who's wrong? And does it even matter when the stakes are this high? Yeah, basically, L's true name never really stated. They never actually show his actual name until later on, that his name is L Lawlet, Lawliet. In the show, his name was always, or so-called, Ryuzaki, but that's not his actual name from what I found out. But they never stated his actual name until later on, like in the manga and stuff, where fans were really trying to speculate what L's true last name was, because that's what made Light very frustrated, because he wanted to end Light L, but he couldn't find his actual name, and that's the whole thing about the Death Note. If you cannot have an actual person's first and last name, or their first name at all, the Death Note doesn't work in that way. So yeah, so they really try to outsmart each other, but unfortunately Light was a little bit smarter, because like I said, he took his memories off of the Death Note so that he could be vulnerable and get L to kind of reveal more about himself. And one of Misa's, I'm going to call her the right-hand woman, because he basically never really loved her. And the funniest thing about this whole series is that they always make Light, his last name is Yagami, which in backwards is I'm a gay. So basically people are like, maybe he is gay, maybe he's asexual. Who really knows? But all we know is that Light never was really attracted to anybody. He was attracted to power, though. He was attracted to being the one and only person in the world, and people worshiping him and stuff like that. Yeah, it's hilarious. Yeah, so yeah, very interesting characters. Like I said, go watch the series. It's good. The music is bomb. If you guys are into rock, it's good. It's good for, honestly, people think Death Note is like for emo people. Not technically. A lot of people can enjoy it. Even I can enjoy it. It was really good, you guys. So let's get more into it.
Segment 4, personal growth, boundaries, and reflections. Let's talk about Light and L's reflect the blurred lines between good and evil in real life. Light at Yagami as a metaphor, the person who becomes consumed by their sense of righteousness, no matter the cost, the dangerous allure of absolute power, and how it can cloud our moral compass. So let me start with Light first. Light is the type of people we have to we have to watch out constantly, because they can come out with the most brightest smile. They can come out with the biggest charisma ever. And they're the type of people that never have good intentions with anyone. They may at first, let you be your guard down, let you, they become vulnerable, as I like to call it, fake vulnerability, to make you feel like it's okay to let your guard down. But once they start having you in the vulnerable state, that's when things can get really tricky. And these type of people have no good intentions, whether it be some celebrities, some politics, sport people, you name it, even people you hang out with every day, your own family. People can turn on you very quickly, and that's just human people. Unfortunately, human people have the decision whether to be with you one day or discard you the next. Even if they were the most sweetest people, which technically these people really aren't from the very beginning. They just disguise themselves as people to make you think that they're doing something good when in reality they don't. L as a metaphor. The detective who knows the world isn't black and white, but still fights for balance, even if it means getting his hands dirty. The struggle to maintain personal boundaries while still fighting for what's right. So for people that, are good, for example, me included, we want to make the world a better place, and that is not the most easiest thing. A lot of people think, make the world better. No, it's not easy, you guys, because you're always going to deal with people that don't think like you, people that don't want to understand you, and that's okay. That's perfectly okay. Or you're going to fall into the trap of being with the light Yagamis without even realizing it. And then they start disguising like, let's do this, let's do that. And then you realize that these people never really cared about you. They only cared of getting rid of you in order to steal your identity, in order to do this, in order to do that. People get rid of people every day. Politics, celebrities, you name it. You have to be very careful and trust no one. Not even yourself, honestly, because, you are a very unique person. You can have as much experience with understanding different people's manipulation and stuff like that, but you have to be very careful, you guys. A lot of people can say that, but a lot of people fall for certain traps that don't look like traps, but they are. That's why you got to be very, very careful. Either you are a light Yagami or you are an L. There's no in between. Either that or you're a very neutral person. Or you're a Hisoka that doesn't care for, right and wrong, just there for the entertainment and for the, watching people do certain things without you even getting involved, So it says, what does their fight for justice say about us? How can we better navigate our moral dilemmas without losing sight of what really matters? Ooh, that is a tricky question, because everyone in their way and has every right to have justice. There's no such thing as perfect justice. There's always gonna be some sort of flaw within the justice system. I don't know much about the whole legal justice system, but all I know is that there are some good bad guys, good cop, bad cop, but in reality, everybody has a different form of justice. You cannot change someone's viewpoint no matter what you talk about, if people are very determined to live a certain way, let them live a certain way. It's not your responsibility to change. Either not very simple, but either you're a light Yagami, an L, or a Hisoka. You're a person that, rather see people burn down. You want to make people, or you're an L, that you want to see people do good, or you're a Hisoka. You don't care whatever happens, as long as it doesn't happen to you, you don't truly care. And unfortunately, sometimes we're all Hisokas in some point, because as long as it doesn't happen to us, it's not our problem. It's not this and it's not that. And that's not always good, you guys, but it does happen, if I'm being realistic. And what really matters, you guys, is what you truly believe in. Whether you are religious or not, you have your own type of power. Whether the most important thing is that, try to be as good as you can. It's not the easiest thing. I'm talking from being a very kind person. It's very hard to be, because, a lot of people either are there to, support you, or a lot of people there are just there to destroy you. And that's what I will say this: trust no one, because, the only person, I'm just saying, and I'm not forcing it down on people's throats here, but, I believe in God, and He's the only one, I believe in. But like I said, that's me personally. Whether what you guys believe in, no judge at all. Like, you guys believe in what you want. But like I said, what truly matters, you guys, is helping each other as much as we can, and try to be an L, no matter what the cost is. Want, people to, at least try to be happy, at least try to feel equal, even though we can't always be equals. Let me just be honest, but on some certain things, but that's just how society works. But the most important thing, you guys, is what you guys truly believe in, and what is your actual moral compass. Because not a lot of people have moral compasses. A lot of people are they will follow anyone just because they don't know what to do. And that's okay in some sense, but you have to have some sort of character development, some sort of characteristics in order to know how to navigate in this big, cruel world, if I'm being brutally honest. So, just be very careful who you trust, who you surround yourself with, and try to be an L. I'm not forcing that on people's throats. You have the possibility and the responsibility of whether you be an L, light Yagami, a Hisoka, or an L. And like I said about Ryuk is our consciousness and free will. We have our decisions to make, whether we decide it be good or be bad. But for him, it's like, look, whatever happens. It's not my responsibility, really. Yeah, so just be careful, you guys. Try to be a good person, no matter what the cost is. So there you have it, Light Yagami and L, two minds at war, both driven by their visions of justice, yet both willing to cross lines that most of us wouldn't even dream of. Thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of my podcast. I love diving into these characters with all of you, and I can't wait for next time. Don't forget to check out the teaser trailer if you haven't already. New episodes drop every Sunday, and you can find me on Spotify and YouTube as Scarlet Everose. Take care, keep your peace, and remember, justice isn't always black and white, but it's up to you to make sure it stays in the right hands. Love y'all. Bye.